He's there. Okay. All right, so the Gemara and Bershus everyone. The Gemara and Chesam Udalef says, Rava Omar, Erva lo tzricha kor. We don't know Pollak to tell me that Erva is also beibum. Why? They not say the chilos shesh bakor. So say that Serafim will never push off the lois say of an Erva that has cars. Kitzur. So why do I need the Pollak? The Mesa Tzar. It's coming to tell me that the Tzar is also beibum. Even though the Tzar is an Eshesach, and Eshesach is usually mutter in the case of women, but since she's a Tzar server, she'll be also. For the Gemara, Erva lo tzricha kor. Do I really not need a Pollak for the Erva? V'otanu eli Elohi. It says in the Brisa right after we said the drasha of Aleha. We said in the Elohim Mashma that we learned the Isra by Erva from this drasha of Aleha, and not from the Svar of Enasedo Chalos Sheshet Bagaris. So the Gemara Mishum Tzarasa. We really didn't have to say in the Elohi. The only reason we said it is because we were leading up to we just want to ask Tzarasa Minayin. It's like, for example, like if you want to go to your uncle's house for Shabbos, so you call him and say, "How are you?" But you know that he's doing well. You just want to ask him if you could come for Shabbos. So it's the same thing here. I know already that the Erva doesn't in the Pasuk because I said the reason why we do say it is because I want to ask where do we know that Sarah doesn't go to you? Fine. And the Gemara really later on says that really if we need the Pasuk only for really, it's also in a set of but we need the pasuk to tell me that the tzara doesn't go to you. The tzara is mutter in the case of women when she marries a stranger, for example, or drone. Okay, so there was a Chaburah, a share joke. Okay, now thank you. We all know that a Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry an almana. Why? He says in the Pasuk, in the Emor, Perek, Chalef, Pasuk Yudalad, that Almana Loikach is not allowed, Kohen Gadol is not allowed to marry an Almana. So therefore he's allowed to say. Now if she is Almana from the Nisuin, meaning she was already married, so she also has an extra problem, and that's being the Aseo, the Pasuk before that says, Kohen Gadol has to marry a Basula. So since she's not a basula, she was already married to someone, so he's also transgressing this say of Isha B'Psula, and now she has, and if he's borrowed her anyway, so he's over on two lavim, and a loisa say of Alman Loikach, and an assay of Basula. Now, 1 second. What would happen if when she falls to Yibum? So the Meir and Daf Chaf Amudalef says, if a person does Be'ila Eloshem Yibum, is doing bear with Eloshem Yibum, and he's trying to be Kohen this way, it's not going to work. Why? She's not really Yibum. She's a Chayv Elav, and he's not allowed to marry her. So and if he's trying to be Kohen through a beer, it's not going to work. Eloshem Mikol Makom. But then the Meir says a Chiddush, and he says Mikol Makom in Ba'ala Mitaras Kiddushin of Ertzana. If he has beer with Eloshem Kiddushin, and she does it willingly, so she needs a get, meaning it's a good kiddushin. She needs a get. Shal kiddushin tafsin, but because the kiddushin are toifas by her, because she's a chayv elavin, and we know kiddushin are toifas by chayv elavin. Now this is a pella because if she's not basibum, if she's not in the partial film, he's also trying for him to be miyabim her. So, Lichora, I would have said, the Torah said that a person is not allowed to marry a Shesach. This is one of the arais. Now, he said when it comes to Yibum, you're allowed to marry her. So I would have thought that when there is no Yibum, there is no mitzvah of Yibum, it would just go back to the original Yisra of a Shesach, Shesh Bakaris, and therefore the Kiddushim will never be Chal, because on Kiddushim David Mechavek curses. And the Rosh Hadavgil, basically, Maschil, the Moti Derava, she says also, says that thing. He says, since she can't go to Yibum, he's not allowed to marry her, as an Asay stopping him. So he's like an Eishesach. So she is an Eishesach Shalom Bim Mitzvah, and therefore she has curse. And therefore it would say, in our case, the Kiddushin are not Toifus. So why on earth would the Meir say that even though there's no mitzvah here, the heter still stays. Like what brings him to say such a svar? So really there are few other places in the Gemara later on that say this type of svar that the Meir is saying. First of all, we have on Daf Nun Dalet. A lot of guys here do that. It's not that fun. Okay. So it says the Rebbe says the Rebbe Shasur B'Chai Bal Minayin. The Gemara asks, how do I know that the Rebbe is also while her husband is still alive? Let's say let's say Reuven marries Rachel and divorces her. So how do I know that Shimon is not allowed to marry her while he's still alive? And the Gemara explains the Svar that V'dim L'achal Mitzvahs Bal Mitzvah B'Chai Bal Rishos, because I would have thought that the fact that the Yavama is also the fact that the Torah says that after the husband dies, she's mutar. You guys, please stop making signs. It's confusing. Thank you. Since the Torah said that you're allowed to do yibum after the brother dies, maybe that's only the Torah is only saying that it's a mitzvah. But if he's still alive, it would be reshus. So we see that the Gemara had a hava that even though there is no mitzvah of fibum over there, the heter of fibum still stays. So that's what the Meir says. And also later on Daf Kuf Yud Aleph, it says, I didn't do it, I just went right. It says that Yom Kotan Shabali Yom Gdala Tigadlenu. If a mini Yavam has beer with an older Yavam, a 13-year-old enough, so the Gemara says, the Mishnah says Tigadlenu, so she raises him, meaning they could live together. And then when he grows up, he'll just do a proper beer with her, and then he'll actually do the mitzvah. Now, Makoton is not Chava mitzvah, so therefore he's not doing the mitzvah of him by having beer with her. But yet the Mishnah says that he could still live with her even though there is no mitzvah there. So again, we see that the heter of Hebrew stays even when there is no mitzvah of Hebrew. Now, okay, so just to conclude, so we see the best thing when it comes to Chag Lavin. So it's a machlokes between the Tosfos Rosh and the Meiri. According to the Tosfos Rosh, the halacha would be that even though since he's not allowed to marry her, so therefore she goes back to the original Isser of Feshes Achesh B'Karas, and since you're a Karas, the Kiddushin are not going to be Tefes. And the heter of Fibum obviously is not remaining because the mitzvah of Fibum is not here. According to the Meiri, he said no. Since even though the mitzvah of Fibum is not here, but the heter still remains, and we saw this already also in the rise that we brought from the Gemara. And she doesn't go back to the Eshesad, and therefore the Kiddushin are Tefes. Now, what would happen by Chavik Krisos? We could clarify that we would be the same machlokes. If a person marries a Chavik Krisos, he would be chayav not just for the Chavik Krisos, meaning the let's say he was a bas. He's not just going to be chayav because he's a bas. He's also going to be chayav because he's an eshesach. Obviously, he's not allowed to marry her because the name said the but he'll also be chayav on an eshesach according to the Rosh. According to the Meir, we would say that we would say the same story that we said before. That even though the mitzvah of Fibum is not there, is not allowed to marry her, there is no Yibum over there, but the heter of Fibum stays, and therefore she doesn't go back to the Isser of Eshesach, and she would be, and it would be chayav only for Chosish or Bas or whatever it is, but not for Eshesach. But the Gemara Lamed Beis says that it's not true. If a person does deal with Chavik Krisos, it's chayav mishum Eshesach, it's chayav for Eshesach, and also for Chosish. So, and we don't say that since there is that since we saw before by Chav 11 that we don't need the mitzvah of Fibum to be there in order for the heter to be there. So we don't say it over here. We say instead that the Isur of Eshesach comes back. So what's going on here? What's the difference according to the Meir? What's the difference between the Chav 11 that we say that the Isur of even though there is no mitzvah of him, the heter stays, and over here all of a sudden it looks like something is stopping the header from staying, and it just like preventing him from staying, and therefore she goes back to the Isur of Heshesach. So, these are the problem. but don't worry, Rebbe Bear has an answer. And I heard it from a Rebbe. My Rebbe said it's a Kabbalah from Rebbe Bear. I said in Yiddish. Hold on. Avada Erev Gufo midaf nicht a pasuk. For sure, we don't need a pasuk forever. But we had a pasuk. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was flowing much more before. There was no like crowd. So, but at the end of the day, we don't need the Leo. Back to Chesed Mudal. We don't need the Leo to tell me that therefore is also. We know that because Ena said Shesh. But at the end of the day, it does say a Leo over there. It says a Leo by the pasuk of V'chosisha, and etc. And it does teach, although it's kind of teaching about the tzara, but it also tells me something about the erva. It tells me that the only type of erva that would part of the tzara would be davka an elodic erva. It would be an erva that is also has the isur of Heshesach. It's coming to tell me that It's coming to tell me that this erva. The 1 second. It's coming to tell me that this erva that we're talking about in the pasuk, she also keeps the Isur of Heshesach, and it says there she doesn't get this heter only in special din by rice. We don't say that by Chavilon because it doesn't say Allah there, but by Chavil Kirsus, since it says Allah, it's coming to teach me that. It's an extra thing. The Allah really is coming to tell me that the tzar is not Rashol ben Komibu. But since Erva was also written in that pasuk, it's also telling me about the Erva Chidush that she keeps the Isur of Heshesach. And therefore, if you do Kiddushin B'Halak, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. She's going to be Chayav Mishum Heshesach as well. And that also explains a wonder that I forgot to mention before, that really we in the Brisa we answered the Eli Elohi, so we said this motion with the nice uncle, and it was really nice. But at the end of the day, the Gemara is not your uncle, and you don't have to actually be polite. So like the Gemara should have started Tzara Sarva Minayin. Even if you really want to be organized, you could just say. You could say Erva Mishugena said we know because Ena said Chalos Shesh Bakaris. But where do we know the tzorah? Why do we need to say Eli Elohim? Much more that we learn something from this pasuk of Allah. It's going to tell me something about the Erva herself. So what is that? So what is that thing? So that's what we said. That the Rabbi said Eli Elohim is not coming to tell me that now I know that Erva is also. It's going to tell me that now I know that the type of Erva that is pattern in the tzara is dafka in a lodik erva. It's an erva that it has the isur of Heshesach. Only an erva that has the shem of Heshesach could part of the tzara. An erva that doesn't have the shem of Heshesach, let's say for example Chavilad, it's not an erva, but any woman that doesn't have the isur of Heshesach, so would not be able to be part of the tzara. With that, we could die to Chanukah and say Chanukah Sameach.